Pope Benedict's fears of growing out of touch will only have endorsed the opinions of those who have long thought he already was. But faith in the title, if not always the man himself, has sustained. His visit to Britain in 2010 was proof if it was needed. Anyone watching on could have only concluded one thing: the Pope irrelevant? Nonsense.
Remembering his visit here to Britain, when people were saying before he's a real stern man and very remote. In fact, he came over as a good shepherd, a real pastor concerned with people.
78 years old when elected after the death of John Paul II, Joseph Ratzinger became the oldest pope in 200 years. The German cardinal was known to few outside of the Catholic faith as the world waited and waited for the white smoke to rise above the Vatican, telling us of that appointment almost 8 years ago. By millions of Catholics the world over, he was immediately revered, as any pope is. But respect, well, that often eluded him, if only outside of the church, and never more than during the child abuse scandal. The Pope had to confront the Catholic religion's past and his own.
These revelations were a shock for me, a great sadness. It is also a great sadness that the authorities of the Church were not sufficiently vigilant and insufficiently quick and decisive in taking the necessary measures.
But that shock was questioned. Previously in charge of discipline within the Church, he was given the nickname God's Rottweiler. He was accused of either ignoring or covering up the abuse.
The Pope called the bishops to Rome, and then subsequently he wrote a letter to the people in Ireland. He said he was very sorry for what had happened, and he wanted to put in place structures which would ensure that this would never happen again. Unfortunately, it's going to happen within wider society, and it's a plague on humanity. But it is something which has definitely marked his papacy.
Pope Benedict's time was shaped by a strong belief in traditional values and a sense of a world that is in moral decline. His opposition to contraception, homosexuality and female priests will have been the cause of much frustration to many.
I'm sorry to say that he will be remembered for putting brakes on the reform movement initiated by the Second Vatican Council. He has been very, very cautious.
But he wasn't completely immune to the whims of the modern world, or at least his advisors weren't. Only months ago, he joined Twitter. The very act of resigning his papacy will have disappointed many and satisfied some. But he has done something that his severest critics would have thought beyond him. He's given in to age and rebelled against convention.